So welcome to each and every one of you from whichever part of the universe you are. Welcome to another framework of Mind Architecture's Another Point of View. And today we're switching it up a little bit. Today we're moving our focus to an area that we're extremely passionate about. It's one of the divisions within Mind Architecture Group, and it's applied leadership in sports psychology. So we are at the Caribbean's premier elite performance center for athletes, working in partnership with Movement Mechanics at the Athletes House, which is in Port of Spain, Trinidad. So today we're having a conversation, and a great conversation, really about applied sports psychology, the elite mindset behind high performance. So let's go. When people watch elite athletes, they usually see strength, speed, talent, trophies, records, and victory. But what most people never see is the psychological battle happening behind the scenes. The pressure, the fear of failure, the self-doubt, the mental fatigue, the emotional weight of expectations of higher performance. Because at the level of sport, and at the very highest level of sport, talent alone is not enough. The difference between good and elite often comes down to the mindset. And remember, we constantly say mindset over mind over matter. So today, we're diving into the world of applied sports psychology and leadership. The science of mental toughness, resilience, focus, confidence, emotional control, attentional training, decision making under pressure, imagery and visualization, and very important, psychological recovery in elite performance. Because modern athletes are not only training their bodies anymore, the elite are training their minds. One of the greatest misconceptions in sport is believing performance is purely physical, but elite performance is deeply psychological. Athletes today face enormous pressure, public criticism, social media scrutiny, injuries, early burnout, expectations, and constant comparison. And often, the real opponent is not across the field. The real opponent now becomes fear, doubt, distraction, emotional overload, and internal pressure. This is why two athletes with equal physical talent can perform completely differently under pressure, because pressure exposes mental conditioning, and psychology influences focus, confidence, recovery, emotional control, and decision making. So let's have a viral story moment now about the missed penalty. So there's a famous story about an elite footballer who missed a crucial penalty in front of millions of viewers. After the game, people criticized him endlessly online. The media questioned him, fans attacked him, and privately, he admitted something heartbreaking. He said, "I stopped trusting myself." Not because he lost ability, but because pressure had damaged his confidence. And this happens in elite sport all of the time. Athletes train their bodies relentlessly while neglecting psychological recovery and mental conditioning. But the greatest performers eventually learn this truth. Confidence is not built by never failing. Confidence is built by recovering after failure. And resilience becomes the true competitive advantage. And I'll tell you another story. I was listening to an interview on 60 Minutes with Novak Djokovic. He is regarded, I guess, as the greatest tennis player of all time by the most amount of majors won. And the interviewer started to say, I wanted to congratulate you on this gift that you have. And Novak immediately stopped him and said, listen, I appreciate that, but I'm going to have to correct you. This is not a gift. This is actually something that I work on every day. This is a skill set. So the skill set of recovery, resilience, mental fortitude. Many times he's found himself in a place where in the fifth set, he could actually lose. But he goes back to his resiliency training and it just seems like he gets another gear. And his mentality, for the most part, he gives credit for pulling him through many difficult spots, because in a tennis game, it's all about rallies, there are peaks and valleys, and he doesn't stay in a place of a negative energy for too long. And what he said was that the average human, when they get disappointed, could stay in a place for up to 20, 30 seconds, even a minute. But how he is different as an elite athlete is he stays there from 2 to 3 seconds. His interval is so short because he's still a human, so he's still going to feel negative emotions, but his ability to recover and make the intervals as short as possible is what steers him apart from his opponents. So we're going to talk a little bit about mental toughness and resilience. It's a great segue. Mental toughness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in sport. It is not pretending emotions do not exist. It's about accepting it. It is not about emotional suppression. Real mental toughness is emotional regulation, adaptability, composure under pressure, persistence during the most adverse moments in competition, and psychological recovery after setbacks, which will always be part of the performance. So elite athletes fail constantly. They miss shots, they have losses, they have injuries, they get criticism, they get benching, they're under pressure. But their resilience determines, can you recover emotionally and continue to perform at the highest level? Positive psychology teaches us something really, really powerful, folks. Adversity can either break confidence or build psychological strength. So, resilient athletes develop self-awareness, emotional control, growth mindset, and recovery systems. So we're going to share today from Athlete's House some tools about the reset routine that we talk about. Elite performers develop psychological reset habits. So we're going to start with deep breathing, positive cue words, body reset posture, visualization, and emotional framing. So example, next play, stay present. Come on, stay present. Come on, let's reset quickly. Reset quickly. Because mentally, elite athletes recover faster emotionally. And that's the output that we want from using these psychological tools, to be able to recover faster. So, as we move into another framework, in sports psychology, we often talk about attentional control and focus, and this is really, really important. Focus is one of the most important skills in elite sport. And in today's world, attention is under attack constantly. We have so many distractions, social media, noise, pressure, all kinds of social distractions, expectations. I'm going to add one too, parents, because this is the feedback that we get. So I hope the parents who are listening with their kids today understand attentional control, because elite athlete must train their attentional control, and you can support this, the ability to focus on what matters while blocking out what doesn't. Athletes often struggle when attention shifts toward fear of failure, crowd pressure, family pressure, mistakes, outcome thinking, instead of execution, repetitive process, and present moment awareness. So we're going to share another tool at this time, which is what we call the focus circle, where you can control your effort, attitude, preparation, breathing, and your response. And that helps you to release crowd opinions, social media noise, uncontrollable outcomes. Elite focus requires selective attention. So cognitive skills and decision making. Elite sport requires rapid cognitive processing. Athletes must analyze information quickly, anticipate movement, regulate emotions, and make decisions under pressure in seconds. Stress affects cognition. When pressure increases excessively, decision making narrows, reaction time slows, and mistakes continue to increase. So this is why mentally trained athletes often appear calmer under pressure. They are not necessarily less emotional. They are more psychologically prepared. So one of the tools that we can use to increase your cognitive skills is what we call the performance reframe. So instead of don't make mistakes, elite athletes learn to focus on let's execute the process. Let's execute the process. So the process with penalty taken, if you take a look at one of the most famous footballers in all of the world who's known for penalty taken, he's breathing and he's talking to himself. What he's saying, and he says it before every penalty kick, even at practice. So he has a process and a routine that he's comfortable and focuses on. And he said, this is just like crossing the road. I do this all of the time and I'm ready to cross the road. So let's go. And he picks his corner. And that's really a great example of process-focused thinking, reducing performance anxiety. Imagine you can release anxiety and reduce anxiety and suppress cortisol when you are in a moment of extreme stress in front of so many people that you do not know who are shouting and cheering at you, some to succeed and some not so much. So emotion, arousal, regulation. It brings us to emotion and arousal regulation. Performance is heavily influenced by emotional arousal. Too little intensity drops performance. Too much intensity, athletes become tense, reactive, and mentally overloaded. In other words, they freeze, and we see it all the time. Elite performance requires optimal emotional regulation. Athletes must learn how to activate energy and how to calm the nervous system. This is where sports psychology becomes transformational. Tool number 4 that we're going to share in terms of optimal regulation is what we call breath control techniques. So one powerful evidence-based method that we often use is what we call box breathing, where we breathe in through our nostrils for 4 seconds, we hold for 4 seconds, we exhale for 4 seconds, and we hold again for 4 seconds. And if we can do this in a repeated pattern, this regulates our nervous system and improves composure under pressure. And this is really more a part of the neuroscience. So as we move forward, we're now going to talk about sport imagery and visualization, which is really, really powerful. Elite athletes and really normal people who have great goals understand something fascinating is ahead. So the brain responds powerfully to mental rehearsal. Visualization activates similar neural pathways involved in actual performance. This is why imagery training is used by Olympians, elite footballers, NBA players, fighters, and world champion. We have a world champion batsman right out of Trinidad and Tobago, and he's one of those proponents of sport imagery and visualization. He would get all geared up in his pads, his whites, and he would play an innings against the bowlers he knew he was facing in the morning. So when it came to getting out in the middle of the crease, it created a greater amount of comfort because it already felt like he started his innings before. So performance visualization is really before performance, visualize calmness, execution, confidence, recovery after mistakes, successful movement patterns. Remember, mental rehearsal improves psychological readiness. So, as we start winding a little bit, we're going to talk about mental fatigue and athlete wellness. And one of the biggest conversations in modern sport today is about mental fatigue. Elite athletes are not machines. They are human beings carrying pressure, expectations, travel, emotional exhaustion, public scrutiny, and identity stress. Mental fatigue affects concentration, motivation, recovery, emotional regulation, sleep performance, and of course, your happiness. And sustainable performance requires that type of balance in your life because burnout destroys performance. So one recovery tool that we tend to share, that we'd like to share today with our listening audience, is that recovery is performance. Recovery must be a part of your performance preparation because recovery includes sleep, emotional decompression, mindfulness, healthy relationships, especially those in your close circles, therapy and coaching support, and also joy outside of your sport. So there's an escape, there's a release, there's a different sense of identity that not everything is tied to success or failure with this one aspect of my life. So in the final section, the elite mindset. The greatest athletes in the world are not mentally strong because they never struggle. That's a myth. They are mentally strong because they learn how to recover, adapt, regulate emotions, remain focused, and keep moving forward despite pressure. And maybe the greatest victory in sport is not only winning medals, maybe it is becoming resilient, disciplined, emotionally intelligent, mentally healthy, and psychologically balanced. Because elite performance without mental wellness eventually collapses. The true goal is sustainable excellence, to perform at a high level while still protecting your humanity. So athletes, it's been a great pleasure hosting. And remember, this has been another point of view by Mind Architecture, where psychology, resilience, emotional intelligence, neuroscience, and human performance come together to help people thrive in today's high-performance world. So if you like this episode and it inspired you, or you know elite athletes in your family or circle, like, subscribe, please share this with an athlete, coach, or performer who needs to hear this message today. And remember, the body performs what the mind believes. So be sure to train both. We look forward to seeing you in another episode. So for now, from the Elite Performance Center of Athletes House in Port of Spain, Trinidad, with Movement Mechanics, thank you so much for being here. Be well, be positive, be great, be loved by all, but most importantly, yourself. We look forward to seeing you in our next frame.